The question is, can you be guilty of drug driving if you have been taking prescription drugs? Well, the answer is yes, you can, but there is an important defence available. So there's a list of 9 prescription drugs. They're things like amphetamine, morphine, diazepam, and 6 other ones. Each one of those has a limit, and if you're found driving with one or more of those drugs over the limit, then you could be guilty of drug driving. But I mentioned an important defence, and that important defence is that if you've been taking these particular drugs and you've been taking them in accordance with a prescription, then that will give you a defence. So you need to show that you got a prescription and that you've taken the drugs in accordance with that prescription. So, for example, if you're told to take one in the morning and one in the evening and you've had the whole packet, then you wouldn't be taking the drugs in accordance with the prescription, even though you had that prescription. But if that defence is established, then you would have a defence to the charge and you would be not guilty of driving with drugs over the prescribed limit. You could still potentially be guilty of driving whilst unfit through drugs, although that's quite unlikely because if you're not guilty of the main offence, then the chances of being prosecuted for driving whilst unfit are pretty slim, and there are evidential problems for the prosecution to prove that case. But there is a potential for that. The other thing is, of course, if you've been taking prescription drugs and you are below the limit for that drug, then you'll also be not guilty anyway. And in fact, the limits for prescription drugs are much higher than the zero tolerance limits which are in place for illegal drugs.